beautiful souls. Welcome back to 31 Days of Yoga. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Wendy. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are into health, fitness, and yoga-related videos, then consider subscribing to my channel. And then while you're at it, click that little bell icon to be notified every time I post, which through the month of January will be every single day. Today I have for you a little headstand breakdown. So this class may not be for everyone. If you have any neck issues, you could take it through to the point where you might be approaching headstand and then stop. But if you have a lot of congestion as well in the sinuses, you might want to skip this one for today and then come back to it when you're feeling a little bit better. So without any further ado, we will need 2 blocks, a mat, and then preferably be next to a wall, just in case you're not used to quite leaning into it yet. It just kind of gets rid of that fear factor. So when we're ready, we're going to get started on our mats, and we'll go ahead, get started right away with a nice shoulder opener. So let's take our blocks side by side, or you could have them the long ways. And then hips above the knees, we're just going to take our elbows onto our blocks, take our hands together, and then just let the chest drop down. Let the head drop down as the shoulders gently open in. So the cool thing about headstand is that it doesn't necessarily take a ton of shoulder opening, such as Pincha Mayurasana may, but it's still a really good inversion, and it takes a little bit of core strength, but a lot of it is just stacking and kind of overcoming the fear, having some confidence to be able to lean into it. This was for sure the first inversion that I learned. And we're not going to be doing a tripod handstand or headstand today. We'll be doing more of a traditional one with our elbows on the ground. So for me, this one took a little bit longer to get, but once I got it, it became, pretty simple. Not easy, but definitely simple. Okay, let's go ahead, pull ourselves up. Let's set the blocks to the side. And then from here, let's just take ourselves up into a plank. So we're going to let the hips drop just a little bit. Try to really tuck in the pelvis so we're feeling a little bit of a scoop there. And then let's just rock ourselves a little bit forward, a little bit back, just starting to wake up that core. Come back as we come forward, bring your right knee. Push it back as we come forward, bring your left knee. We'll kind of switch around like that. Right, left, right, left. One more each side. Right, left. Good. Send it back. Downward dog. From here, make sure that your elbows are hugging in towards each other. We're going to move our elbows so that they're hovering over the ground and then lift ourselves back up. So we'll hover and lift, hover, lift, hover, lift. One more, hover and lift. And then from here, we're just going to drop all the way down to our elbows. We might want to take our hands together. This will help prep us just a little bit more for the shape of the pose. Good, so dolphin pose here. We can start to walk our feet as close as we can towards our elbows. Just hold for a moment. Go ahead, lift the right leg up. Set it down. Lift the left leg up. Set it down. And then go ahead and walk yourself back to a forearm plank. Try to drop the hips in line with the shoulders. Breathe. And then walk the feet back closer towards the elbows. Once again, reach the right leg up towards the sky. Set it down. Reach the left leg up towards the sky. Set it down. Good. Let's go ahead, drop down to our shins. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about actually setting up our headstand. So we would like to interlace our fingers here, and then make sure that your elbows are about shoulder distance apart. So it might help to grab the elbows, place them down, and then interlace the fingers. Now, some people like to have their palms touching. I more like to create a little bowl here, a bowl with my hands. And then sticking your head down, there should be very, very little weight on the actual head. The elbows should be pressing down enough that you find some protraction of the shoulders to lift yourself out of this. So in theory, you could come from headstand, press yourself up into shoulder stand. In theory, I haven't made it quite yet, but we'll see. Okay, so finding that position, let's go ahead, lift ourselves up here into kind of that dolphin variation, and then let's do just like I said before. Press your elbows down, lift your head up, and then let your head come back down. Press to lift, and then bring yourself back into it. Press and down. One more. Press and down. Very good. Let's go ahead, drop it down one more time. We can roll the shoulders a few times. Okay, so I'll show you a few different entrances. Let's start with using the wall. So you can slide your mat up nice and close. And for me, at least, I would rather start in a straddle. It's just a little bit easier, but I'll show you a few different variations and you can check and see which one you like the best. So we're gonna set up spiraling towards the wall, set up your little bowl, measure the arms, and then stick your head in between the hands. From here, pull yourself up. And then all we're going to do is let's just start with our left leg. Pull the knee in towards the chest. Try to move up onto your tiptoes of your right foot. And I'm realizing right away I'm a little bit too close. I don't have quite enough room to lean. So pull yourself, maybe 5 or so inches away. Let the head come back into the hands. Press yourself up, and let's go to the other side. So right leg comes in, try to press yourself onto your left tiptoes, and then come back down. This time, if you feel so inclined, let's come up, bringing the left heel into the glute, press up onto the right tiptoes. Maybe you extend the left leg, and maybe you find some float. Maybe both legs go up, and slow, just like you came into it. Let's bring the left leg down, the right leg down, pull the left knee into the chest, and then set it down all the way. Other side, right knee comes into the chest, lift it up. Whew. Maybe you find that movement here. For me, sometimes it's a little bit easier to come a bit more smooth into it rather than breaking it down. And then draw the right knee back into the chest. Let the left leg come down, and then the right leg. Good, let's go ahead, set it down, and release. Roll the shoulders back a few times. Now, I actually did not learn how to do a headstand with the wall. I more learned how to do it in flow, and this way it was maybe a little bit scary, but it got me used to kind of leaning into it, trusting that my legs will counterbalance and allowing myself to pull back up. So I'll just show you another method. I feel like this is, it's not easy. It's just a little bit easier for me and my body. It's to come into it from a straddle. So I also, while pressing isn't exactly the easiest thing, I find that pressing into a headstand definitely creates a lot more balance. We don't want to kick up into it. The only thing that's going to happen if you kick is that you might overshoot and come over onto your back. We definitely don't want that. So as much strength and control as you can muster, that's where you want to be. So we're going to go ahead, set up our elbows, measure it out. Set the head into the hands. And then from here, come up onto the tiptoes. Now, you have to lean pretty far so that your hips are over your shoulders, if not a little bit behind them, so that your legs can act as a counterbalance. So we'll go ahead, inhale, exhale, press yourself up, and then maybe you can allow those feet to start lifting. You can stay here. You can try to bring your feet together, nice and slow. Good. Remember to breathe. And then when we're ready, bring it right back down. Excellent. From here, let the head shift a little bit side to side. It always feels good to do a little bit of a free inversion without the pressure. And okay, so that's essentially maybe a very beginner's guide to headstand. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. You can definitely make it more so simple. Utilize the wall. Keep on utilizing the wall. And the more that you do that, the more that you can gain confidence with yourself. I would set it up so that I was maybe 5 inches away, and then as I became more confident, as you become more confident, maybe take yourself a little bit further away so that you know that, if you do overshoot for some reason, your foot will just hit the wall. You'll be able to bring yourself back. And that way you can also gain some confidence in holding it without the support of the wall. The wall is great. It's a lovely tool, but we don't want to become reliant on it. We want to eventually branch off so that we can do headstand, in the middle of the room or wherever else we want to do it. So go ahead, practice that as many times as you would like to. I would highly suggest adding a headstand into your practice, whether if it's just a few moments at night or just a few moments while you're doing any other flow, even after any of the practices that we do together, just to get yourself more and more familiar with that movement. Going upside down may be a little bit scary, but once you got it, it feels so empowering, so amazing. So I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you again tomorrow. Namaste.